Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Monday Mids episode 12. Now, I am a binge watcher by nature, which means that I don't watch an anime until it's complete. This means I watch spring anime when it's summer, and so forth and so on. However, lately I've been thinking that I should preview and recommend some future seasonal anime and review them in real time when they come out. With that being said, I humbly request that you subscribe to the channel and like the video. Alright, with the begging out of the way, the image on screen explains the premise of this series, so pause and give it a once over if you are new here. Let's get right into it. Today we pulled R, and I knew immediately that there was one series that I was going to put in the bangers category, regardless of what the general community thinks about it. Normally, I would never mention this series to other people, but one day my brother randomly started recommending it in our group, and I was like, alright, cool, I have an ally, I'm not just tripping. No, I will not feature ReZero. While I do acknowledge it is an 8 or higher, I have a pathological hatred for Subaru, and out of pure spite, I'm omitting it. This letter had a lot of 7s, which don't fulfill the criteria for this series, so the mids were actually slim pickings, relatively speaking. But that's enough about that. Let's get to the bangers first. This week we do have the usual 3 bangers, as there were more than enough to choose from. I won't spend much time getting into it, but I'm fairly confident the majority of anime watchers, past, present, and future, would enjoy these series and rate them higher than mids. The first series is Real Life, a romance drama series. Real Life follows Kaizaki Arata, a 27-year-old man who's struggling to find direction after failing to establish a successful career. Everything changes when he's offered the chance to join a mysterious experiment that physically transforms him back into a 17-year-old and sends him back to high school for 1 year. Expecting the experience to be easy thanks to his adult perspective, Arata quickly discovers that fitting in is far more difficult than he imagined. As he reconnects with the challenges of youth, he forms new friendships, confronts the mistakes that shaped his life, and gets a rare second chance to become the person he always wanted to be. Now, I need to say this. I promise you I am not recommending the kind of series that has you thinking this is how you end up on Chris Hansen's list. I won't reveal too much because I don't want to spoil the plot, but rest assured, bro is not just here to perv on high schoolers. The second series is Roka no Yusha, or Roka, Braves of the Six Flowers, an action fantasy mystery. Roka, Braves of the Six Flowers takes place in a world where 6 legendary heroes are chosen to prevent the return of a powerful demon god. Confident that he's the strongest man alive, Adelet Mayer sets out to claim his place among them, and is eventually selected alongside the other Braves. But when the heroes finally gather, there's one major problem. There are 7 of them. With an imposter hiding in plain sight, suspicion quickly turns towards Adelet, forcing him to clear his name, while uncovering the true enemy before the group tears itself apart. Blending fantasy with a tense murder mystery, it's a series full of twists and mind games. The third series is Rakudai Kishi no Cavalry, or Chivalry of a Failed Knight, an action fantasy romance. Chivalry of a Failed Knight follows Kuragane Iki, a student at an academy that trains magical warriors known as Blazers. Despite being labeled the weakest student in the school, Iki's true abilities are constantly overlooked by those who judge him solely by his poor rankings. After an unexpected encounter with Stella Vermilion, a powerful princess and one of the academy's top students, the two become unlikely rivals and allies. As Iki fights to prove his worth, the series blends exciting tournament battles, romance, and character growth into an underappreciated action fantasy that's well worth checking out. Fair warning, this series is ecchi, and his sister is on a madness at one point, but it is surprisingly good. I actually expected mids when I picked this series up the first time, but it actually undersells and over-delivers. Now, that brings us to the mid-series that we will cover today. We weren't exactly starved for mids to choose from. We were just somewhat lacking in mids that I would actually feature. Generally, I try to avoid mids that exist solely for the sake of tropes like harem for this series, and mids that have an absolute madness like Ryo no Oshigoto taking place. The premise for the series we will cover today is no longer unique or niche given Slime's popularity, but I think this series does the premise fairly well with a more mature tone and presentation. With that being said, I bring you Re-Monster. After being murdered in the real world, Tomoku Kanata is reincarnated into a fantasy world as the weakest type of monster, a goblin. Retaining all of his memories from his previous life, he takes the name Gobro. Unlike ordinary goblins, Gobro possesses a unique ability. Whenever he eats another creature, he can inherit some of its abilities and traits. By constantly hunting stronger enemies and consuming them, he evolves at an incredible rate, transforming from a lowly goblin into one of the most powerful beings in the world. The defining mechanic of Re-Monster is its evolution system. Ro grows stronger by defeating enemies, eating them, absorbing their skills, evolving into higher monster races. Each evolution grants increased strength, new abilities, improved intelligence, greater magical power. Unlike many RPG-inspired anime, where characters simply level up, Re-Monster emphasizes biological evolution alongside skill acquisition. At first glance, it appears to be monster isekai, survival fantasy, power progression, but its core themes revolve around: number 1, evolution through adaptation. Ro survives because he continually adapts. Rather than relying on destiny or a chosen one narrative, he analyzes every encounter and asks, what can I learn? What ability can I gain? How can this make me stronger? The series treats growth as a constant process of adaptation. Number 2, building a society. As Ro becomes stronger, his goals expand. Instead of seeking to conquer the world immediately, he focuses on protecting his tribe, organizing resources, developing infrastructure, creating alliances. The story gradually shifts from personal survival to community building. Number 3, morality from a monster's perspective. One of the more unusual aspects of the series is that it largely adopts the viewpoint of a monster rather than a human hero. Ro often makes decisions based on pragmatism, survival, benefit to his group, rather than conventional ideas of justice or heroism. People liked the series because of fast progression. The series wastes little time before Ro begins evolving into stronger forms. Fans of rapid progression enjoy watching new evolutions, skill combinations, expanding influence, increasingly powerful opponents. Kingdom building. Many viewers appreciate that Ro doesn't simply become stronger. He also develops his tribe into an organized and capable community. Monster protagonist. Instead of another human reincarnation, the perspective of a monster leader gives the series a different flavor from many isekai. Why it is controversial. Extremely overpowered protagonist. Ro gains new powers at such a rapid pace that later conflicts often lack meaningful tension. Condensed anime adaptation. The anime covers a large amount of source material in a short time, causing many events, character interactions, and world building details to feel rushed compared with the novels and manga. Mature content. The story includes graphic violence, slavery, sexual content, coercive relationships. In particular, the way some female characters become part of Ro's group has been heavily criticized. Many viewers found these elements uncomfortable, and they remain one of the series' most controversial aspects. The final takeaway, and a simple way to describe Remonster, is a monster reincarnation fantasy in which a goblin with the ability to gain powers by consuming his enemies evolves into an overwhelmingly powerful leader while building a thriving monster society. Its biggest strength is its addictive progression system. There is almost always another evolution, skill, or milestone to look forward to. Its biggest weaknesses are the rushed adaptation and the handling of several mature themes, which have made it one of the more divisive monster isekai series. Get into the plot rating. This ends up being a 6 out of 10. The plot is not groundbreaking given the state of current anime, and yes, the pacing does feel like it moves at light speed sometimes, making it feel like you aren't really watching development and more of just an absolute sprint to the finish line. But overall, it's good enough to keep you here for the 12 episodes. It also is clearly good enough to the point where, while so many other anime can't get a second season, Remonster is scheduled for a second season. Regarding the characters, they end up being a 7 out of 10. The characters are a lot more mature than your usual isekai or tensei, and it handles the concept of a monster MC well, making it feel like it's an actual monster MC and not a human cosplaying as a monster. Probably would have scored higher if the characters had a chance to breathe and the series wasn't just progressing at breakneck speed. Some characters are your standard trope filler characters, but there are some good ones among them. Moving on to the animation aspect, I gave it an 8 out of 10. The drawings are good, the animation is great, and it has enough action to show off some of its better sequences. It just doesn't break into the category of do these animators even remember their children's names at this point territory. The overall score therefore ends up being a 6 out of 10. This actually threatens to break into the 7 out of 10 category, but just falls short for me. If the pacing was handled a little better, I would probably have rated it a 7 and it wouldn't be featured here. Like I said, it's nothing overly exceptional, but it is good for what it is. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Love you all. Stay safe. Stay beautiful. Peace.